Welcome to the 188th edition of Make Pro Wrestling Majestic again. I am Tiger Height.
And I am Peanut Gallery.
So, Wrestlemania is the only segment we're talking about. We're talking about positives and negatives.
Yep.
There really isn't anything in any particular order.
Yeah, overall, what do you give the show?
I'm going to give it...
I'm going to give it a full thumbs up.
I'm going to give only a full thumbs up.
Yep, not two.
I think there were a couple of places where there was too many ads, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about night number one.
Yes.
We'll split it up that way. So we'll talk about positives, negatives for night one. So I did not like this.
So night number one overall, I think besides like the last two matches were a little bit, I think the crowd wasn't really into it. Like,
yeah.
It was very I
agree.
Slow, and the crowd was slow to get into it. But most of it is pretty predictable.
I will say,
well, which is another. I think it's another negative. It's like it was a little too predictable. But
some of the title changes, I didn't expect the New Day to win. Yeah. I thought Gunther was going to be Jay.
Oh, really?
I did. Okay. I guess I wanted it.
Yeah. So as far as that goes, like the matches were fine. They were just. I felt like they were also a little stunted.
It never got out of second gear.
No, at least not until the main event. Then it really went into overdrive.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that the match between Jade Cargill and Noami was better than the Charlotte Flair match a little bit, just because I think they have a little bit better chemistry. They really protected Tiffany Stratton here, and then Charlotte Flair, of course, she still is dealing with that knee issue.
Right. Well, she's always going to deal with that knee issue.
Yeah, she is.
I will say the debuts for certain people were very good for night number one. Obviously, Jacob Fatu won his match, and it was received very well.
Yes, that was probably my favorite match outside the main event, quite honestly.
Oh, yeah.
It was Jacob Fatu, because he really puts in the work. Like, you can tell which people really put in the work based on how dominant they look in the ring.
Right.
Like, you don't have someone like Jacob Fatu beat LA Knight, without like the blessing of Triple H, essentially.
Right. Like I said, we're just going through it. I will. The replacement for Rey Mysterio being Rey Fenix was a good decision.
It was
overall.
Fine. I don't think it changed the outcome of the match at all.
No.
It did highlight, though, the fact that in major breaking news, WWE did buy Lucha Libre Triple A.
It was not on my bingo card.
Not on the bingo card this year, but they did buy it, so they're really promoting this match as kind of a showcase of Lucha Libre.
Because Rey Fenix came from Triple A.
Yep. El Grande Americano did not, but, that's
Grande Americano is awesome.
Yeah.
He is so awesome. I mean, people are like, oh my god, the racist is so bad. It's not.
It's supposed to be a parody gimmick.
Yeah. There was some idiot that called that filter that was on Grande Americanos the Mexico filter.
There is no such thing as
a Mexico it's called filter. The Seria filter, I believe. It is pretty standard. It's meant to look very
vintage, old Western vintage. Which
it was so cool. I thought it really added to Grande Americanos.
Yeah, it did.
Just mystique.
Yeah, and we talked about this. Now, Tiffany Stratton, she did well, but again, I don't think the chemistry was quite where I expected it to be.
I agree with you.
It was very, very spot heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's put it this way: Tiffany Stratton for her first WrestleMania match did a phenomenal job against one of the best in the business. Essentially,
there's something here did not click nice. It was very weird.
Yep, it was. And then the problem is they had all of these kind of mediocre-esque matches, and then you had the main event, which is just something different. I think everyone has agreed with my assessment on this is that. Like, if it wasn't for that triple threat main event, it would have been like a 2 out of 5 stars. I agree. And then that match alone just brought it up to a 4 out of 5.
Actually, I think this match was so good, it brought everything else down.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a fantastic main event. The turns were done so good. I literally think this main event not only was like the savior of night number one as it relates to anything, but I think it just killed everything else.
Yeah.
Because we watched the whole show, we were pretty tired, but at the same time, we were like, God, that main event was awesome.
Yeah. But everything else was just like a dud to like pretty decent. Like I said, I think the Noami Jade Cargill match was decent. I think that the Tiffany Stratton Charlotte Flair match was decent, but they didn't really
nothing else
didn't really capture the moment.
Nothing else felt WrestleMania.
Yeah,
that's sort of what I got out of it. I got generally just sort of there.
Yeah,
I got their vibes, but then this main event felt WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Night number 2 was 1,000% better.
It was.
Now, for night number 1, I'm giving it an Orange Cassidy thumbs up. An enjoyable show.
Yep.
But at the same time...
There's really only one match that you need to watch.
Exactly.
And maybe one of the 2 women's matches if you're feeling generous. The other stuff really
you could have skipped and would have been fine.
Right. It's because the other thing, too, is a lot of these rivalries are just going to continue.
Yeah.
Or they're going to take on new dimensions.
Or we've already seen it. We already saw Gunther versus Jey Uso. There was no reason to do it again.
Right.
If they were going to do that, just have Jey go after Cody then, because then at the very least we get something different.
That is what I told people at the very...
And it should have happened.
It should have
happened. That should have been the thing.
Yes.
Night number 2 was by far the superior show.
It started off well. It started off like halfway between the main event and then every other match in night number 1, and then it just got better from there.
Oh, yeah. These are in no particular order.
No.
I did know this was the first match.
It was.
Good.
This was a good match to start off
fantastic match. Mm-hmm. I mean, not only just a good match just to start out on, but a fantastic match.
A fantastic women's match. This was, I think, the best women's match of the entire 2-night affair.
Oh, by a country mile. Yeah. Nothing even came remotely close to that.
I mean, the tag team championship match, but
we'll talk about that in a second.
There's a lot of nostalgia with that.
Right. There was... Night number 2 felt like WrestleMania.
It did.
That's what I got out of it, where this was the night that saved the show. Right. This match was awesome, and it had no reason to be. Like, I knew it was going to be good, but it just went so above and beyond.
Yep, it did.
And I chose Dominik to win. I didn't expect him to win, but he did win. He won this match, and that was crazy.
Was a good showcase of the mid-card. I think it was better than every other showcase of every other mid-card match that we saw this entire night.
This was better than the United States Champion match, and it wasn't even close.
No, it wasn't.
Like I said, LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, we have seen this variation.
It's Jacob Fatu.
Did I say Solo Sikoa?
Yeah, you did.
Wishful thinking. With Jacob Fatu, it's like we knew he was going to win. We knew it was going to be good. This one just exceeded the expectation.
Yeah, it did.
Especially
with the dynamic that was there.
Fatal 4-ways are hard.
They are very.
They
hard.
are a very hard match to sort of not only predict but book, and they just did it very well here. Everybody felt right. Dominik winning, he was the biggest pop of the night. Yep. I love that. Yeah. Not just because, it felt good, but Dom worked so hard.
It holds a lot of dimensionality to the Judgment Day as well, which I really think needed it.
Yeah. That was another thing. I think it almost sort of saved Judgment Day.
The Judgment Day is becoming a lot like the Bloodline in terms of like how long they have been around. Every single time that happens, you need to find some sort of new avenue to portray the heroes and villains within that storyline. And I think that they did a really good job with it.
I do too. I think there might be some more dissension here. Now, within the Bloodline, obviously the Bloodline has a much greater significance.
There's a lot of lore behind it that is interesting.
The Judgment Day needed some TLC.
Yes.
They lost their aura a ton, and I think with this title win, we can finally start seeing more of maybe a deception, maybe of a separation here. I mean, Judgment Day, I think pretty much everybody wants Judgment Day to be done, and I think this was a step in the right direction of maybe even kicking Dom out.
Yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen. And what does that mean for the tag team champ? I guess the former tag team champions on the women's side, and then Carlito.
And what does this mean?
Bálor.
And what does this mean for Judgment Day proper?
Right.
Maybe we'll see a more dangerous and aggressive Judgment Day where we'll see them win different titles, bigger matches. Maybe Finn does go for the world.
Maybe.
But I think Dominik with the Intercontinental champion rather is a good idea. And also Bron was not the one who got pinned.
No.
Finn ate the pin.
Yep.
Which was once again the right call.
The right call.
This match was better than it had any right to be.
No, but it's a Logan Paul match, and honestly, you can't have a bad. It's hard to have a bad Logan Paul match. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but
I've seen better Logan matches.
Oh yeah, I have too.
That was my thing about this. It never kind of clicked out of third gear. It just sort of happened, and then pulverizer, and boom. I'm like,
that was kind of it. Right.
It was very weird.
It was just kind of a filler match.
It was. And I think these two deserve more than just a filler match.
Yeah.
There should have been something more. There should have been more oomph to it.
Although, AJ really is just more like I'm going to have a special attraction match with someone I see potential in.
But they should have done something more with it, more rivalry based.
Yeah.
I think Karrion was more of a distraction.
Yeah, he was. I don't know what's going on with Karrion.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to figure out what they want to do with the guy. They don't want to obviously let him go because Karrion has a lot of potential to do some great things.
Yeah.
But I think just the whole, what does this mean? I think it actually took away from the match.
Yeah.
Because Karrion was so heavily involved with the rivalry already that we never really got a conflict resolution. And WrestleMania is not the start of a rivalry.
It usually should be the end. And now, I don't think a lot of these rivalries are going to end at WrestleMania.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think this match would have been better suited for the Raw after Mania.
Maybe.
I think it probably would have been more advantageous. And I think it would have been properly placed and better booked. Even if they booked the same exact match, this just didn't feel WrestleMania. I'm sorry, I hate saying that, but I guess with me, there is an expectation for a Logan Paul and an AJ Styles match, and I just don't think it fit it exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
It was a good match,
right?
But I know they could have done better.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's sort of why I'm like, it was there. This match, number one, Drew had to win. And I said this before, and I think this is a perfect example of it. If you're going to do a street fight, if you're going to do a hardcore match, you have to go all out with it.
Yeah.
It felt like it was a very safe hardcore match.
Yeah, that's all it was.
And I wish they incorporated more. I think they didn't incorporate the glass. I think that would have been better because that was a big point of contention. Mm-hmm. There was a plane of windshield glass, and that just never happened.
Right.
And I think that was unfortunate. But Drew needed to win this more than Damian. I think that was the big thing there. Becky Lynch was the returning person.
Yeah, and it really was all about Becky Lynch at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Lyra was just there. She's fine. I don't know if she deserves to have 2 belts at this young of an age, but,
She's been putting in the work with that women's Intercontinental champion. Anytime she defends it, it's been a good match. Mm-hmm. It's been a good...
She felt very out of place, though.
I think she has that...
I'm going to
stock that up to some nerves.
She has those WrestleMania jitters.
It's fine. Like I said, I'm giving a lot of these first-timers some leeway.
It was the right decision, though, to take the belts off of Judgment Day because obviously they're going to be actively in the middle of a breakup.
Right. And I think that's the other thing. Dominik is the catalyst to the breakup.
Yeah.
We can't have other champions there to take away from it because
Dom
is the focus because Dom won the belt from Finn. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm actually okay with that.
And then Becky, you knew that she was going to want to win a championship on her first day back.
Becky is back.
So here's the thing is that they knew that Bayley was going to be removed for weeks. That was just going to happen.
It was a kayfabe injury.
So it was a kayfabe injury. This was all planned.
Oh, yeah. It was a kayfabe injury because people were like, huh? Why is Bayley teaming with Lyra all of a sudden?
Right.
Well, then it made the gauntlet match useless because Becky replaced, which was weird, but whatever. Becky Lynch coming back. She is going to be there with Lyra, which I think is a good thing.
Well, I mean, not Bayley. Becky is Lyra's mentor. So.
Right. And I agree with that.
All right, big match, John.
I can't believe he won.
I can't because I'm the one that I picked him to win.
You did. I mean, here's the thing.
You knew he was going to win with some bullshit, which he did.
I mean, here's the thing. I think John Cena should come back with a modified version of the spinner. Let's just piss everybody off to the
That would be amazing if he brought back the spinner belt.
Not the old spinner because it has the old scratch logo, but an updated one with the new logo. Yeah. Cena, number one, I will say one thing just in general, the entrances, the pageantry was there both nights. They were awesome. John Cena just blank with his own name. It's so subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It makes such a difference, though.
Yeah.
Feel how different that energy was when Cena just came out to nothing but his name, but his theme song is the same.
Right.
You deserve nothing. That was what he's been touting for weeks, is you deserve nothing. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
And
I think this was the strongest rivalry going into Mania, bar none.
Oh, yeah, and, which is weird because this was the one where Cena, showed up later.
Yeah.
Because he turned heel. He won his match.
Yep.
And then he turned heel.
Yep.
So it's just sort of weird on how that worked.
Right.
I think, I don't know how I feel about this. Cody is much better chasing the title than winning it.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great title reign. I don't care what anybody says. He's going to be the one to beat John.
Yeah.
And he's going to chase the title and beat John.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is the last year of John Cena.
Yeah.
Where are you going to do that? Are you going to do that at Clash when they're in Paris, rather?
No, you know what? I don't
Are you going to do it at SummerSlam? Because then we still have a lot of time there between.
They're going to wait until closer to the end of the year.
I'm just trying to figure out what event would even be remotely close of having this final thing with John.
We don't know all the events that are. We don't know every event that is happening, but I'm sure that we can figure it out pretty easily, actually.
Yeah. I do wish The Rock was there.
I do.
The Rock was a fairly big catalyst as it relates to the John Cena.
Then we got Travis Scott.
Well,
Travis Scott was there too.
Yeah,
he was part of the group.
Travis was fine. But I think Rock should have.
Rock should have been there
because, once again, he was the catalyst to not only Cody Rhodes being a bigger babyface, but Cena turning heel.
Yep.
But then he wasn't there at all.
Right.
That was weird. But other than that,
although it does make Travis Scott make sense,
right? Cena won with a ton of bullshit.
Yep.
And
it literally was like he just hit Ball's belt. That's it.
Ball's belt, and then just pinned. I was not expecting it. I was like, "What?" It was crazy. But that was really it for Mania.
Yeah.
I guess at the end of the day, a couple of questions for Peanut Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Did this feel like WrestleMania after both nights?
Oh, yes. Night 2 definitely saved it.
Okay. When it comes to what rivalries you think are going to continue after this? Because I don't want any of them because this should be it.
But obviously, the ones that jump out to me right now.
Oh, we forgot about the Orton match because I didn't have a picture.
Randy Orton was faced Joe Hendry.
It was a 5-minute match. I guess that was why it was never brought up because it was like a 5-minute match.
But that's okay. Joe Hendry was in a crowd of 65,000 people and exposed TNA's brand to millions of fans. So,
which was awesome.
So that's good for TNA.
And then with the Triple A integration, they had Vikingo.
Yep.
Hit a move on Grande Americano.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll see more of that. I would love to see Chad Gable actually go to Mexico, something proper, and do stuff there.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, with WWE buying Triple A, there's a lot of speculation there as it relates to what their standards are going to be now.
Right. But I think that we're going to see a lot of increases in production value.
With Triple A, well, number one, they have English commentators, which was a big keystone. Penta and Fenix came from there, but with the historical footnote that CMLL has, do you think WWE could still put something over on CMLL from that point with Triple A?
Yeah, I think Triple A is going to be in a much better negotiation.
Well, what about certain titles? What does that mean for outside wrestlers working for them? What changes with
that is something that we are not going to discuss here tonight because, quite frankly, I think that is a whole other discussion we can have at another point in time.
It was such big news.
It was
crazy big.
Again, we're only covering WrestleMania, so.
Well, I mean, there was some involvement there. It was a big announcement during WrestleMania week. I mean, we're not going to talk about all the time, but I guess other than that, it just was. It was there. It was a WrestleMania. I think last year's felt more WrestleMania, than this year's.
So
that's just my opinion. Like I said,
okay.
Oh, and night number 2, by the way, full thumbs up. Yep. That saved the entire show. Full thumbs up across the board. Let us know what you think. Next So we're going to be doing a week break.
No, a couple weeks break.
A couple weeks break.
Because Mothership is in town, so we're not going to be doing anything for a few more weeks, but we'll kind of discuss what we're going to talk about when we come back.
Yes. If you did enjoy this, remember to like, follow, subscribe, become a patron, all that great stuff. We have some cool things in the books, and that break is going to really make sure those things are set. So stay tuned for that. And as always, be
majestic.
Oh, and I will be coming back with my reviews, so do not worry. Those will be back.
Okay.